Now, exactly a year ago, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge tied the knot. The royal couple are likely to spend their first anniversary in the seclusion of Balmoral. Our royal correspondent Paul Harrison looks now at a romance that has gripped the world.
Thousands flocked to London, 2 billion tuned in as Prince William tied the knot with Kate Middleton a year ago today. As Kate became the Duchess of Cambridge and wife of the second in line to the throne, so started her journey as the newest member of the royal family. It was unfamiliar territory in more ways than one, with her first official overseas tour to Canada and the USA, countries she'd never visited before.
We saw her walk the red carpet at the BAFTA event and schmooze with the likes of Nicole Kidman and Jennifer Lopez, that she was already comfortable in this role, you know, and it is a world stage that she's found herself on. She's not only on our cover, she's on the cover of magazines all around the world. And the nation has just taken her to their hearts. You know, we put her on the cover time after time because that's what our readers want.
Which is why Kate has this year appeared on 60% of Hello magazine's front covers. Everywhere she goes, whatever she does, and whichever designer's clothes she wears, a reinvigorated royal press pack captures her every move.
The phenomenon that's been William and Catherine has certainly changed the pace in royal photography. It was pretty pedestrian a couple of years ago, but it's picked up, and there's an appetite all around the world for images of this couple.
At every stage of Kate's first-year learning curve, there have been firsts. Her first engagements alongside the Queen, her first chosen patronages, her first solo engagement while William was serving in the Falklands, and of course, her first solo speech.
I'm only sorry that William can't be here today. He would love it here. A view of his that I share is that through teamwork so much can be achieved. What you have all achieved here is extraordinary.
We were all very impressed with the way in which she was immediately able to establish a rapport with the children and with the families. They were very impressed, the families, with the way in which she was able to understand the emotions that they go through having a child with a severe illness.
In her first year as a member of the royal family, Kate hasn't put a foot wrong. She's shown she's as comfortable in the limelight on her own as she is in an unbeatable double act alongside her husband.
The one-year anniversary now of William and Kate. We saw a report there from our royal correspondent Paul Harrison, who has charted their progress, it's fair to say, over the past year, been travelling around with them a fair bit. And it's been a whirlwind year, really, in terms of what they have to expect in the future, going from a private couple that occasionally, you know, we saw in public to full on.
Well, 9 years was the courting time span, and of course then when the engagement was announced, from that moment on it was full on. In the engagements that they had that led up to the actual wedding day, they were right across the country visiting Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and of course here in England. That was the first glimpse that we really got to see of Kate. And there were only, half a dozen or so engagements before the big day on April the 29th last year. What pressure, though, Lorna? 2 billion people tuning in. It's tough enough for any bride on their wedding day, but then to be in the spotlight like Kate was on that day, turning up in that fabulous McQueen dress. And of course the big balcony kiss, which everybody was waiting for. It's been an amazing year. We've seen first royal tours to Canada and LA. Probably my favourite sort of few moments, that sort of 10-day royal tour was pretty full on, but she hasn't really put a foot wrong at all.
No, she hasn't, and she's had to take a few big firsts this year, doing engagements without William, choosing her charities, and of course the speaking engagement for the first time.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I was told that whilst she appeared maybe a little bit nervous, but as you'd expect, but the world's press was there, more so than you would see at most engagements. So her first speech was being run around the world. That she was quite nervous underneath the podium where she was doing that speech from. Her hands were quite tense. So from here upwards, she seemed quite relaxed, and she delivered it, perfectly. So there have been a lot of firsts. There was, of course, Christmas at Sandringham, and that was a very different one this year as well because the Duke of Edinburgh was unwell. So, yeah, it's been. It can't have been easy, but the one thing that everyone says is that whether she's talking to Barack Obama, of course they met earlier in the year as well after they were married. Whether it's Barack Obama or whether it's a young child who's got a life-threatening illness at a charity, she's as calm and engaging with both, and I think that's probably one of her biggest strengths.
Reminds you of someone else, doesn't it? Paul, thank you.